Welcome to the Real Triathlon Podcast. I'm your host, Garrick Lowen, here with Nicholas Chase and Jackson Laundry.
Welcome back to the Real Triathlon Podcast. It's a rare occurrence, I know, and you'll all probably have to put this on your calendar as a day to remember. We've got Jackson, Garrick, and myself all together once and finally. So say hello, everyone, so they know it's real.
No, it's fake.
Hello, everyone.
I'm just a voice actor.
Yeah.
Well, at least you got a gamer headset on now. You look legit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Los Tres Amigos back together. If that's even Spanish.
It's been a while, and I think sorry, excuse me. The last time we did this, I think Garrick was getting ready for a race. I think it might have even been the one you did in Taiwan. Like that's the last time I think you were on the podcast.
I think it was after Taiwan. It was beginning of May.
Okay, so beginning of May. And then since then, we had St. George. And then now the biggest things we want to talk about for this episode are going to be probably focused around T100, since Jackson had the opportunity to go race in San Francisco.
Yeah, Jack got a top 20 at T100 San Francisco.
Hey, top 15.
Oh, right.
Nice.
But it was pretty good because I was top 20 out of the water too. So
yeah, what happened? Was it so terrible to swim with booties and gloves on? Is that what got you?
I don't know. I just can't. When it's like that choppy, I just have a hard time actually swimming hard. Like you're trying to swim and then you're pulling air and like it's just I couldn't get my effort up. So I was actually really far off the back, to be honest. Like I should have been even further back than I was. But I just like took a better line because I like talked to Mark and figured out how to do it well. And then like they were like totally gone. And then at the end, they're like basically swimming along the shore and I'm still like coming in. And then I pretty much caught onto the back. Like actually getting onto the sand, I was probably only about 5 seconds behind Jason West, but then him and Sam just like freaking sprinted in transition. So did everybody. So yeah, that was me on my own. But I just did not see that race playing out that way at all. I was like, oh, it's going to be, little couple groups of 2 or 3 or 4 guys. Just like you could ride well on this course by yourself. But apparently not. It was just like a freaking giant group of survival, and everyone just hung on until they couldn't.
It was frustrating because we raced Boulder, and I really wanted to watch that race because it was the first T100 race that I felt like had actual coolness. Like jumping off, there's not a buoy for you to sight off of. You have no idea what's going to happen. The bike course was all kinds of hilly, all kinds of technical, and I didn't even get to see it yet. So what didn't really happen otherwise, like beyond what you thought was going to happen? I heard that Jan was still calling people out for riding too close.
I don't like. So basically, what are you asking? Why did I not get in that group, more or less?
Yeah, like what do you think? What was the bike dynamic really like, and how did it like play out where your normal bike strength just didn't allow you to bridge your way up?
I think a few things. Definitely a big part of it was the technical descending. I was for sure losing time there. How much time? I don't know. Maybe 2 minutes, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, because there's 2 descents per lap, and the one descent, like you go down and you're on like a road, and then they take us from a road onto a bike path, and it's like a descent, and then it's like flat for a few seconds, and then the bike path is like 15%, but you're coming off the flat road, but going like really fast. So that's where everybody was actually freaking getting air and launching up down onto that bike path. It was insane. I'm just like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm not fucking doing this. And it was wet, and there's paint on the bike path. Like, if you land on the center line of it, you're fucked. So I don't know how people were doing that, and nobody crashed, thank God. It was amazing, but I just like probably bled tons of time on the descents, and then yeah, I mean those guys. After talking to the guys, they were just pushing super hard on the uphills. I was pushing solid. Like for the one climb was about 3 minutes 45 for me, and the other one was about 3 minutes. And I looked at my data, and my average power on those was like 365. So for 40 plus minutes of climbing, that's not low. Like it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
But those boys were all doing like 450 and just smashing it. So like yeah, they just rode harder, rode better. And then yeah, I mean definitely there was some draft benefit for sure on the flat section, which was maybe a third of the course. So yeah, I just didn't anticipate that, but I didn't race too bad. I mean, it was just yeah. On that type of course, I'm gonna struggle with a lot of descents like that, and I've always any type of like time where you got to accelerate a lot. I've always struggled to like stay in the groups and stuff. So that type of course was tough. But I wasn't the only one who struggled. Like dudes who've been weighed up, like David McNamee was fourth at Singapore, and he was like way off the back. Um, so
Yeah, I think that course added a lot of cool things that caught some people off guard. And I wanted to bring Jason West on, but I haven't been able to ask him. But what is his kind of like overview of like what he's not been feeling right? Did you get a chance to catch up with him at all?
I did do an easy run with him by chance because we were just out, did our run together, and he's been out. He did some testing with the new Ventum frame that's coming out just at the wind tunnel because they don't have one available yet for road riding, but he's stoked about that. But yeah, I didn't really like ask or get too much of a sense of where his fitness is. But if you look at the season, like Miami, he did okay. Like it wasn't a great day for him, but it wasn't terrible. And then Singapore, he was cramped and like I
Yeah,
think the heat just
his
got him.
guts, his stomach was real bad.
Yeah, I think he maybe his nutrition wasn't quite right, and just got exacerbated by the heat. And then this one was just like that course. It's just he chose to ride a road bike. Um, so I think he was just losing way too much on that, and like even on the good day for him, that's going to be tough to stay with that group. Like that might be above what his biking level's at just at the moment on that type of course. But I think one thing we're seeing is the level on the bike is just getting crazy, man. Like you've got the guys who pushed it, like to push that limit, the Ditlevs, Red Funks, and the Sams. Like there's now just like a dozen dudes who are that strong, and that's crazy. Like it's so hard to. It's no longer like a pack of guys that are not that strong, and then Sam Long and Ditlev kind of doing their own thing. Now there's a ton of dudes who can like at least go with them in a big race. So I think maybe Jason's feeling that a little bit. Like holy, I could kind of hang out close by in some of these less technical races, but when you've got these hugely strong bike groups, he's just going to lose so much when he's on his own.
Eric, what
So
do you think
his
about?
seat also fell off or something weird, or like
Oh
Yeah, I
wait,
heard his seat was slipping a bit.
his seat slipped or something. So he did have to stop. He had a mechanical, but I think those mechanics are legit. Like they probably got that fixed really quick.
there's a
Um,
clip on the T100 posted where he rolled up and they hit it like a pit crew.
yeah, yeah, they're pretty good. Those dudes are legit. That's one thing I'll say is like the T100 mechanics. It's amazing. Like they're just so well connected in the industry. They're just awesome to like even just talk with and learn from. They replaced my whole front derailleur because it wasn't working that well, and they're like, yeah, we'll just warranty it. We'll just put it in and give you a brand new one. They replaced my batteries because they were dying too quick. Free, all that. They had the part for my brake that I've been missing that's been jankety all season, and they just freaking those guys are awesome. So anyway, I got to get into at least one T100 a year just to go and get my bike dialed in.
Just to get your bike fixed.
Yeah.
Garrick, what do you think is going on with the bike run swim dynamic of the entire ecosystem?
Well, man, originally I had Jason slotted in for my fantasy in fifth because I was like, you know what? Like, he's done this course a few times. He's been on the podium at Alcatraz. Like, he kind of knows what's happening. Then I saw his video of his road bike, and I had to drop him. Like I know Jason pretty well. I've raced him basically my whole career since I don't know what was it, like 2014. We started racing him, Jack.
Yeah, probably
He's a
2015.
great guy, but I don't know why he went with the road bike. I think maybe he was just because he's had like the issues. I mean, he did have an okay race in Miami, and then he had the issues, and he was kind of reaching for something, and that's why he went with that bike. So that was
I will
disappointing. But
say
yeah, I it looked like the guys that were like in the pack for the bike kind of knew how hard they had to ride, and the guys that weren't in the pack didn't know how hard those guys were pushing on the hills, and that caused a lot of the separation. But what were you gonna say, Jack?
that's definitely true. They were just pushing each other real hard. But I will say that um, on a course like that with a ton of accelerating, you're just I could see why he thought maybe that the road bike would be quicker, and he had a full aero bar setup on. So, yeah, I don't know if that was that too much of a reason for why he didn't have too great a day. But it seemed like he was a bit off from the beginning. Like for him to be out second last out of the water, not really a good. Like he's a pretty solid swimmer. Normally he'd be right in the middle of that group, I would think. So maybe he was feeling a bit off. But I do think he's gonna bring it around this season and have some really good results. I just
Oh yeah, I have no doubt he'll find it. I think like to me that road bike, not so much. Maybe it wasn't so much like his result, like how much it was slower, how much it would have been faster than the TT bike. It was more just like he's searching for something because he feels like he just doesn't have it right now, and
yeah.
that was more of an indication of that to me. So hopefully he finds it, man. He's such a good dude, and like I would love to see him be successful.
For
Well,
sure.
shit. There's a lot of us right now wondering, scratching our heads, and thinking we don't have it anymore. So there's a boat of us out there waving our hands around, just trying to swat
Yeah.
it whatever we can.
Yeah.
I yeah, I feel that though. I feel like there's a group of athletes. I feel like we feel like we've been a little left behind in the way the racing has developed, and it's like trying to catch up. Like I haven't had a good bike ride in years, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm searching for something. I gonna get a new bike. I'm gonna try something new, because I'm like, man, like I feel like the power's there, but then you look at these files of the guys in the T100, and it's like maybe my power's not quite there. Like maybe if I want to be competitive, if I want to ride a 151, like what happened in Boulder, like I got to be pushing like 380 in a 70.3 as opposed to like 330, 320.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think once we hear all these numbers after the race, we see the Strava files. Fred Funk always his stuff's always public. You can just kind of
Yeah.
get a grasp on these guys are really at a level that is 20 watts higher than you on the day, and that is a big speed advantage. So it happened. I mean, we've always known these guys were there over the years, like, and now they're just getting highlighted. I think a lot more because the T100 racing, and before they were winning stuff all over, but we just didn't hear about it as much because it might have been Europe.
That was a crazy thing to see Fred Funk off the back of that freaking group. Like and I talked to him after the race and he basically was in there and he got dropped at the first lap and he was like, there's no way these guys are gonna hold this. This is way too hard up the hills. He was doing like well over 400 and guys are just freaking dropping him on the first hill. And he's like, no way, I'm just gonna get back in there by riding smart. And then the whole group just took off and he never caught up. Like it was crazy to see that guy who just dropped everyone at Challenge Championship,
Yeah.
and then it was just wow. But I talked to him after the race, and he said, um, yeah, he regrets not just going with it on the first lap because he thinks he could have for sure just stayed in there, but he just thought there was no way that many dudes were gonna do that, and freaking everybody's post race report is almost the same. It's like, oh well, I had good legs on the bike. I guess I pushed like the best thing I've ever done, and then was in the mix, and then I'm like a minute from the first, but I was like between fifth to 10th. So it's just what it was. It was crazy to see, and I was like, wow, this is a cool race that I'm not really part of. I really wanted to just stop and watch the finish because I was like, what the hell is gonna happen
Did you?
here?
So you went out by yourself, Jack. How was like the energy? Because I know it's kind of sometimes tough to be on your own at a big event like that with just sitting in your hotel room when you've got nothing else going on. Like, how was the pre-race for you?
It was good. It was pretty chill. I enjoyed that. It didn't feel too intense. I didn't have a lot of media stuff, which was nice. Maybe I was a little too chill because that's kind of how I raced, but but yeah, it was good. I mean, they definitely were doing a lot more media with the top guys, and I think I think the race pretty much delivered in terms of viewership. I hope it was well received. The women's side was very opposite to the men's. It was like everybody was on their own kind of once you got through the first couple laps. Um, Taylor just crushing it. I freaking Taylor biked like again so fast. Like she was only like 4 minutes slower than me, I think, on the bikes, which is pretty
That's
crazy.
that's incredible.
So anyway, that was solid, but yeah, good women's race. Some different characters doing. I mean, obviously, Kat Matthews, no surprise, but Ash Gentle not having the greatest days. But she said she was freezing cold and just that's a tough conditions for her. Tamara getting her first finish of the year. She was happy with that. She had a solid day. Definitely bled a lot of time on the descents like me. So that's where she probably could do the most improvement for that course like that. But she was really happy to just be able to go and feel good and pushing it right through the whole race. So good step for her for sure. They're a tough start to the year.
Next one is London, I believe, right?
Yeah, so there's London, which I'm not gonna do, but I'm definitely doing the old Tremblant and then Lake Placid full distance. So
Whoa!
Ironman Lake Placid.
You heard it here first on the podcast. Jackson's doing Ironman Lake Placid.
This is the
yeah,
second time I've heard it, but you guys are hearing it first time.
yeah. So
Nice.
anyway, we might as well just go long if you can't go fast, right?
Yeah.
No, wait, Tremblant is such a gem of a race, man. Like that's like Roth has been on my calendar and I've been committed to it for like 8 months now, but it's in the middle of so many fun races that I would almost rather do. Like that's why I never did before because races like Tremblant are right there. And that's one of my favorite halves. Didn't get to do it last year because of smoke. Jackson, Tamara, Garrick, and
Leslie,
I don't know if Leslie is doing it. I think she
she
said it.
is. We're
Oh, she
freaking staying in Airbnb together, so she
okay.
better be doing it.
Oh man, well that's another reason like I'm gonna have big FOMO on not being there with you guys
I
at that.
think probably Nicole would do it.
Nicole can't just because she's still not running like completely. She's gonna do May,
Oh,
I think.
okay. So anyway, yeah, that's a good one. We'll see. I got a 2 hour run tomorrow, so you know, no rest and just train.
You're
I'm an
gonna
Ironman guy now, so that's
yeah.
like my short run for the week.
Dude,
Uh,
I absolutely love Ironman training. I love short course training and I love Ironman training. I hate training for 70.3. Like Ironman training just feels good. It just feels natural. Like you go out, you get a 2 hour run and then you just kind of flow and then you're like, oh, I ran the last hour at Ironman pace. Or, you know, goal
yeah.
Ironman pace, not the pace you're gonna run for the last hour of your Ironman.
Yeah. Hypothetical, really good Ironman pace.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
just like you get on the bike and you do Ironman intervals and you're like, I can just do this forever. And it just feels good. And you feel
Well,
fast and you feel
I hate
confident.
to say it, but power even for Ironmans now, I think is still gonna be next level.
I didn't say racing. I said training.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. But Placid's great. That's one of the fulls I've done. I know it's a pain in the ass to live around there and it's really expensive, but it's beautiful. The bike course, you get like one of the longest descents on any Ironman I've ever done. It's like a good, had to be like a 6 to 7 minute descent. Like great descent, super fast. That's back when you could super tuck. So like I super tucked the whole descent. And then you always get a headwind on that climb, the long climb all the way back into town. It's usually a headwind. There's like a bunch of little steps to it. And the run course is quite difficult, really hilly. Well, I'd say the run course is pretty hilly. It does flatten out towards the back or half of it, but doing it twice sucks. But it's a good course for you, Jack. Absolutely. In the swim, like there's a legit like fishing line that guides you. You never have to sight.
Mm,
You will though, like just because you can't help it, but you don't have to.
yeah. So the climb, what's the steepness on that?
I think it's probably like 3 to 6%. It's not super steep. I don't think maybe on one of the climbs there might be like a little 8% part, but it's not for long. But they're just long and grindy. And then you always get like a really good payoff descent. So it definitely pays you back to just rip it downhill and go super fast.
Yeah, nice. And the descent is like actually fast. There's not like switchbacks and stuff.
No, it's real fast. It's like a literal straight, and you're like next to the river the whole time. So it's really pretty. I mean, it's awesome.
Nice.
And the roads
I,
are all butter asphalt. They're so good, those roads.
that's beautiful. Can't wait. Can't wait for
Yeah,
that.
you'll have fun. It's really good. I signed up for this one just in case Roth is a terrible day for me, just as a backup.
All right. Sweet.
We'll see. Maybe I'll just come sleep on the floor if I need to.
What weekend is Roth?
July 7th.
Hey, that's my birthday.
Okay. Wait, so you're racing Roth on July 7th. I'm racing Ironman Victoria on July 14th. And then Jack's racing on July 21st.
Oh man, some three fulls. Okay.
Three
All right.
fulls back to back, boys.
All right. Fastest time gets $100.
Oh, come on. That's
You're
not
doing
even
challenge
fair.
raw.
Hey, fat is still
All right,
100.
all right. I'll do it. I'll
All
do
right,
that.
all right,
I'll still try to get you. Let's
Run
see.
an accurate course.
It is
Wait,
accurate. It's just flat.
is there like let me see. What were the times at Lake Placid last year? Was it like brutally slow or not too?
They're not brutal slow. You still swim and bike fast. I think the run's a little bit slower.
Well,
You'll have to look her up.
we'll see. But yeah, no, I'll still do that. That could be a good equalizer, and we can
Yeah.
see who gets her. So, um,
Yeah.
I was about to ask you something and just slipped the old mind.
I raced Boulder 70.3 over the weekend. I guess I could tell you that.
Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah.
I saw that your results seemed about on par with what you did at Oceanside and St. George.
Yeah, it was just a great opportunity. I've never been to Boulder, and I was always like kind of like, I don't need to go to Boulder. I see all my friends all the time when I go to races, and they're from Boulder, and I just kind of always was like, I think I just love where I am and my stuff better. I just was like low key, didn't think it was going to be that good. But the riding and running environment there is some of the best I've seen. I think Park City is the only place that I like a little bit better. I think Boulder is super sick. Like you go on a bike ride on the weekend and you'll see 500 cyclists easy. And cars are just, they know to expect them. The flat areas, the open farmland, and then heading into like 4 or 5 climbs that are all spaced and you can loop together. Left Hand Canyon really is a great canyon to climb. So only thing that sucks there right now is they lost 2 of their pools, so the swimming is not that good until they get some other pools. But they're opening a Lifetime Fitness there, like the highest level, which is going to be so expensive.
Oh,
so expensive. Those are like at least $200 a month or something, aren't they, Garrick?
yeah. Well, my Lifetime is the lowest possible one, and it's $100 a month. So, but when I was in Castle Rock with Matt Hansen, I had to get a Lifetime membership because that was like the only good pool there, and it was like I think I was paying like $170 a month or something at that time.
And the sign up fee is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so otherwise,
it's super
Boulder was
cool.
sick. Oh, sorry. But Boulder was good. Got to hang out with like the whole scene that we all get to race with all the time. They all live there. It's pretty sick. You guys love it. Ellie won, which was awesome to see. Like bringing 8 minutes back from Sif Madsen off the bike on the run. The run is really tough. It's all on dirt road. It was like slippery dirt road too. Garrick, you've done it. I mean, you know all about it. What'd you think?
Yeah, I think Boulder's cool. The bike is so fast, it's so deceivingly fast because the pavement's like decent. I know the roads that they're on now, but I know they changed it. But it's like rolling, it's not entirely flat, and you think like, oh man, this will be, a couple minutes slower. And then you get out, and then all of a sudden you're done, and you're like,
And
holy
altitude.
crap. Yeah, because you're just rolling through there, and then the run, the run is like super slippery. You're right,
But
and rolling as well.
so Flacco let me stay at her place because she was gone for 2 weeks. Nicole came in, she just did a bike run. Leslie, I think, was bib 1. It was awesome. She had a lot of press conference stuff like that, and then I think she rolled in 6. She wasn't feeling super sparky, but yeah, when I go back, I don't know. Racing at altitude is for sure way harder than you expect, because even doing training efforts, you're like, I think I could probably do this. But when you tie it all together and your heart rate's been that high since the swim, man, it's a different type of like race pain, for sure. I didn't have any bike legs on the second lap, but I ran pretty well. And yeah, I was probably like 3 minutes short of what I would have probably gone if I was in really good shape. Maybe more, just because I could have probably stayed with Andre and Robbie on the bike, which I just got shelled on the second lap, so couldn't do her. So that's pretty much it. Training for Roth now, starting tomorrow. I took like today completely off. Weird. I just did some wake surfing. That's all I did. That's why I got
Say,
some
what
good hair.
what did you possibly do all day if you didn't train?
Watch Planet of the Apes. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Then did some stuff around the house, unpacked, put my bike together, did some wake surfing out in the lake.
Wait, you watched 2 movies and unpacked and built your bike and went fucking wake surfing? This is
Yeah.
like, how is that possible? Literally just the stuff without the 2 movies. That's a full day.
I mean, somehow I got her done, did a couple other things which can't talk about because my wife wouldn't like it, but it was a pretty productive day.
Oh God, that's crazy.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. What else has happened we got the U.S. women's selection, or not men and women's selection. Seth Ryder,
Yeah,
RTS Warriors women minus Taylor Knibb. That's just what I'm saying.
and USA cricket beat Pakistan in the World Cup. That's a big deal.
Is it a big deal?
Yeah, huge
Pakistan
deal.
and India just always are the best, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, USA's only had a national team for 2 years now, and their lead bowler is a full-time software engineer at Oracle. So it was a big upset. People were
Oh,
crying.
They were
yeah,
teaming up.
that's
But
crazy.
yeah. Um,
Is their team
what else
like
is
a
there?
lot of immigrants from those countries that just compete for USA, or is it?
I don't watch cricket. I don't even really know how the scoring works.
How'd you?
Because I remember for Canada we had like the best speed skater or whatever in the last Olympics, but he was just a Dutch guy who couldn't get on the Dutch team or whatever. So he came to Canada and then he won a gold medal in the 10,000
Oh my god!
because it's too hard to make the Dutch team. Or I think it was Dutch. Van Bloemen was his name.
I
Anyway,
don't
Brandon.
know. Yeah, there is a bit of controversy with the boys over at the Triathlon
I
Mockery
wondered if you were gonna bring
podcast.
this up. It's like the
Oh,
only thing I saw today.
It's funny because I listened to the podcast and I was like, I know that they're not entirely serious about this, and like they're talking, like there's like they're only bringing it up to talk because there could be a discussion about it, and then people just lost their minds.
I don't even know what
Just on
this
that
is.
one post, right? They they said that
Yeah.
I shouldn't even mention it, but
Well, I'll bring it up. We could talk about it. We might as well. If they're gonna get
This is
canceled,
this
this is
is
how you
real.
get a yeah. This is how you get a podcast to get popular. Is you get canceled. Um, so they basically what they were just saying, and I don't want to misquote them, but they were saying that one possible way, because the races, these World Series races, there's so many more, or a lot of the time there's so many more men, or sorry, I shouldn't put it that way, because so what they said is, based on the gender, the pay should be paid out based on percentage of racers in the race. and that would not come off the top. So like first place, say there's make it easy. Say there's 60 women and 40 men on the start list.
For
Okay.
which type of racing are we
Then
talking about?
so triathlon, prize money at the Ironman World Series races. So
Okay.
if there 60 women, then the women's prize pool should be 60% of the total prize pool, and the men, only 40 men, should be at 40% of the prize pool. But first place, I'm pretty sure Tom was saying that first place should still keep, so like both genders both make $6,000 for first, $4,000. You know, like it goes down, it's the same, but it would just be the 60%
Just be the
gets
depth.
carried lower. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's like, a valid talking point.
I think
And
it's
like
a
it's a
little like,
discussion to be had. My issue with it is that you don't control how many people sign up. Like what you're trying to do essentially is equate outcomes instead of opportunity, where like I think there should be equal opportunity as opposed to like
yeah,
equal outcomes.
it's hard to, also it becomes tough when like anyone can, not anyone, but pretty much we're seeing this year that a lot of people are getting pro cards and just racing. And so the field sizes are ballooning. It's happening on both the men and women though, which not a lot of people are really bringing up,
Yeah.
but it's
Well,
happening on both sides.
yeah, so there's essentially no development opportunity in long course racing, right? You're either an age grouper, which is not a development, not a development pathway, because the racing is completely different. It's wave starts, it's draft
Individual time.
fests, like
Yeah.
it's individual time trials. It's not the same. Like so you're seeing pros, like athletes have to develop as pros in the pro field. So yeah, it's tough to say, like, just
So it's just,
because
yeah,
there's
I
so
agree with
many
what you
people
said,
that, yeah.
that like you kind of, and the other thing is you kind of have to know what the prize pool is going to be before you sign up for a race. For a lot of people, like for people who are, consistently close to or on the podiums, maybe they don't care because they're going to get prize money pretty much anyway. But it's like it'd be hard to be like, I don't know if this race pays 5 or 8 deep, so I don't know, what to do. But yeah, I think a lot of people just like jump on an opportunity to be like, oh look, this is sexist and I'm right and I'm way better, and it's like, I think your point of like it's not a completely ridiculous thing to bring up as a possibility. I don't think it is completely ridiculous. That being said, I do think the way it is probably better right now. And another conversation could be had about limiting field sizes or changing like where the people race, where like if Ironman could like consistently have non-pro series races like once a month or something, and then they're like, okay, this is our development series, and that way you don't have to like win one of those races to get into the pro series, but at least you can be like, okay, you gotta come top 10 at one of these or something to get into the pro series.
Well, moving forward,
Um,
that's pretty easy to do because that's already sort of happening. Like the Pro Series Ironman races are pulling in the best of what we have to offer outside of who's double dipping for T100. And how often do you hear about a non whatever pro Ironman Pro Series race or T100 race anymore? You don't even hear about them. Like whoever wins them, I don't think I've seen any podiums outside of bigger podiums even represented in a lot of social media anymore or reposted. It's all like, oh well, this is just a lower tier pro race because it's not a Pro Series race, and it's already happening.
yeah, for sure. It's already like feels like a development series and is being used that way a lot. Um, but there's not that many of them anymore, so it's hard
That's
to
the
like,
downfall. That's the downfall.
yeah, you can't just say, oh, you can't
Yeah.
be in the pro series. It's like, well, that's like pretty much the only races for certain months of the year. So,
Well,
but
and that's the thing, is as we're getting less and less races, like the fields are getting bigger and bigger because guys want to race and have to race. And it's like, well, you you have to be able to race to get points to move up as a pro.
Well,
But if you're not good enough, then there's like, where do you go?
there's 11 non-pro race full and half distance races between now and the end of the season, and I think there's 11 non-pro races. So there's still more
Non-series, yeah.
non-series races.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like Ironman Austria. Like, why isn't that a pro or series race? That would be savage. But anyways, like it's happening this weekend. It's not, or the 16th, and it's not even a big deal.
Yeah.
I
What's
want
the
to hear
prize
about it.
purse?
And the prize purse for that is 50,000, which is the other ones are 125,000, 100,000. Only the half distances are about 50,000.
Yeah. But at the same time, think about the opportunity
Exactly.
that presents, because probably 0 people ranked in the top 50 will be doing that race, maybe like 1.
Yep.
And that's just a great chance for people to freaking go out and show what they can do and get some prize money. And I think that's been, I think the way it's working out seems to be that, like, yeah, like it's hard to really like break through in the pro series as like a newer, like a lower tier pro, but seems like it does seem like probably easier now to make prize money than it was last year, just because if you go to a non-pro series race, you're not going to run into Sam Long anymore. It's just the way it
Have
is.
we
And with
had
the
a non
T100,
have we had a non-pro series race in North America yet?
there's Campeche or whatever it's called in
Oh wait, real
Mexico.
quick. I don't want to be
Okay, so there's one.
There was 12. There's 12 pro series races left between now and December, and there's 24 non-series races. Sorry, I missed a page when I counted earlier.
Okay.
So it's
Like I know
definitely
there's a
the pro
bunch.
series. Definitely the pro series is pushed heavy towards the start of the year though. So it's switching. It's like it's
Yeah.
shifting. It's gonna, the end of the year is gonna have so many more opportunities than the start of the year.
Yeah,
I can see the pro fields really like calming down near the end of the year.
yeah. Like Ironman Chattanooga, gonna do that race. It's gonna be awesome. It's not gonna be stacked full of a bunch of buttholes who are winning these things all the time.
It shouldn't be. Just like nobody should be going to Challenge Penticton, or not Challenge Penticton anymore. Ironman Penticton. Nobody should be there.
Nope,
Don't go to that race.
don't do it.
Nobody
Hundred
show up.
thousand, $100,000 purse though for that one.
Nah,
You'll
it's
see.
pesos.
$100,000 purse. Oh no, it's Canadian $100,000, so it's like 88 bucks.
No,
Yeah,
they don't
exactly.
pay Canadian. But yeah, Ironman 70.3 Michigan.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that one too.
I might have to see about going back to that and defending the old Titley title.
Yeah, I think you should have clarified that real quick. All right, so that's happening, and
Sometimes I forget that we're on a podcast and we're just hanging out talking.
yeah, that's why we got to. Only differences between here and hanging out talking is like the silence is murder. Can't have a lot of silence while you're like thinking about what to say.
That's
So
okay. Only like a couple thousand people listen anyway, so it's like we're basically talking to ourselves.
Is it that many now?
Yeah.
It's still going up?
Yeah, we're still climbing.
yeah, I mean,
That's sick.
we've been around for 5 years now doing this.
Yeah, and then there's like
Oh,
a
wow.
dozen people that watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
We do get sometimes up to 100 views on the YouTube videos.
We did one that was like really good. It was right after
St. George.
No,
was it St. George or Oceanside? And
Oh
there
yeah,
was
sorry.
like, yeah, no one listened to the podcast. Everyone watched the video.
Oh, well, hey guys and gals, thanks for being part of this. It's going 5 years strong.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been 5 years yet, but it's getting there.
Hey Garrick, what did you think of the Matt Sharp episode? Of like if we did like a Tempo News monthly update of all the top stories he covered.
I thought it was a very good episode, and he's
Cool.
very well spoken. I thought he had some good opinions. It would have been good to have him on a week later though, after the teams were announced, because he didn't even know that Pearson had gotten selected at that point.
I know, neither do we, obviously. We were just speculating.
So
I
that was a really good episode.
I thought like there was no way they weren't choosing Katie Zaferis just because her story and consistency. Like it was not a bad shock at all. Like I love them both, but it was just like, wow, different move than I thought was going to happen for the hardest choice they had to make.
Yeah, I really thought there was a case for Katie because she was just starting to come back and she had a really good race. She ended up having a really good race in was it Cagliari was the last race?
Cagliar pasta.
Yeah,
You had
exactly.
that type?
And that's my favorite pasta. And and you give her another 5 weeks and you're like, okay, yeah, maybe she can be a medal threat. But Kirsten's just shown good form all year, so it's hard that was like the safe pick, I would say.
Even in Super League, because that was the best part is I got to see all of the Olympians who are, all the women. We had all of them almost on the team at any given time. Watching them in person, like be so calm, candid in all the meetings and briefings, and just be very like professional. And then see them in a bind and have them punch their way out of it. Even Taylor coming back sometimes from a big deficit, and Kirsten also, she just was such a fighter the whole time. She never showed any weakness. It was a tough one. And then even Katie, she was like a diesel, man. Like she would have a really high output and it would never really falter. Tough choice.
Yeah, it's got to be terrible having so many good choices.
Yeah,
Hey,
Canada situation got a little out of
yeah,
control.
what I was so bummed Dominika Jamnicki didn't get picked up.
Yeah.
I
Well, they just didn't get the
I'm
slots that they
Yeah,
needed, right?
yeah.
so this might be like completely ignorant for someone. Like there might be someone in the know to know what happened, but Canada mucked up this qualification bad, like really bad. So in Huatulco, they had a chance to qualify a relay team, and Dami was there. So Dami, basically, what you need to know, Dami missed the Olympics by 2 spots or 3 spots. She was ranked 65th, and I think you top 62 get a spot. And so for her to get a spot, she could have either moved up the rankings or Canada could have qualified a relay team. And they had a race in Huatulco, Mexico, which I believe was the weekend before Cagliari.
I think so, yeah.
And yeah, and Canada had a pretty strong team there. And instead of putting Dami on the team and basically securing the win. So what happened was Canada was came out of the water in the fourth leg, the anchor leg. They came out of the water with like a 2-minute lead off of third, and the top two teams went. And you put Dami in there, done deal. It's over. There was a little more drama with like Canada ended up getting DQ'd off the technicality but they could have protested it pretty easily because they didn't get any advantage over that. But you put Dami in there, she locks up the spot. It's over. Canada gets the spot. She goes to the Olympics. But what they did, and what I'm assuming they did, was they're like, oh, well, let's put this team together like this, and maybe we can get this. But if not, Dami can race the next day, and she'll be fresh, and she can move up the rankings. But Canada end up going from second to like last by like that girl. She's a younger girl. She ended up losing like 5 minutes or something in the race.
Oh
So
man.
they totally mucked that up. And then something happened to Dami during the race. I don't know if it was a mechanical on the bike or something, and she didn't finish. And so it was just game over there. And I can't believe that they're not like, this is qualification. Like, why don't we just send our best team, guarantee those spots, get a relay team? That's what all the other countries did. Hungary did that. Um, what is it? Not Belgium, but the Netherlands did that. You know, um, I can't remember what team won, USA or the Brits or whoever won. Like they did that to guarantee their spot, and Canada just didn't do that and missed it. And then the CEO got fired. So
That's all I saw
that's my
is like
little
they
rant.
were announcing some firings, and I was like, "What happened?" Well,
It's
Yeah,
got to be such a tough thing to swallow for Dami, who's been just outside of the Olympics. This is the third time, or this probably the second, at least.
yeah, second or
Uh,
third. I know last Olympics she just missed it.
and where it's not really in your control. Obviously, she would have loved to just do the relay and get a damn spot.
No kidding.
I know.
So that sucks.
And
But yeah,
the idea
Canada's
that you're not going to be fresh to race your own race, to race a sprint triathlon the next day because you did a super sprint the day before, for an experienced athlete like Dami is ludicrous.
it's pretty crazy. It's a super short, and
Yeah.
like if she's in a spot where they're qualified for sure, she's probably just not going to like sprint the last 400 meters of the run, and you know.
Exactly.
But yeah, that sucks, real bad. But the general Canada situation has been a bit tough on the draft legal side the last couple years. It just seems like Tyler hasn't gotten much luck with injuries and just crashes and races and stuff. And we have some good development coming up on the men's side. It looks like that Mathis Bolia guy could be really good in the next Olympics. But he's pretty young, so
They need to
yeah.
Paquette starting to peak. Yeah.
They need to get Lionel to go vegan again and put him back in contention for this.
Yeah.
Real back onto his heyday.
Oh man, I don't understand.
If he just swims hard every day, he'll be fine for swimming. He'll get there.
Well, something's working for Sam, Trevor, and those guys because they've been making their way up the swim packs.
Yeah, Trevor's been racing really well. We should mention him. He freaking won the race.
Yeah.
He comes off of injury. Oh, I haven't been running much, all this, and then he's just a freaking monster.
Yeah. Easily the most talented guy in triathlon.
Yeah,
He's
what is
up
this
there.
no talent bullshit? Like he's got to get rid of that.
I know.
He does 4 runs. He does 4 runs before Chattanooga in the whole year, or like in like 12 weeks or whatever, and then he like has the third fastest run or something.
He's
Comes
an
third.
animal.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But anyway, he's a threat in the series if he can put it together. Ironman series, we should talk about that real quick. It's going, I think differently than a lot of people imagined.
Jackson is 5th.
Yeah, I'm in 5th at the moment. There's only been one full though for the men's side, so things are going to change a lot this weekend with Cairns. Joe Skipper, the man, the world's most hated man in triathlon at the moment. He's racing. He's racing there and could definitely.
Wait, who's racing there?
Joe Skipper is definitely. What's his name? Oh my God, why am I blanking on this? Braden Curry.
Oh, Braden Curry. Oh yeah, of course Curry's got to go there.
So this things are going to be shaken up for sure after this one. But I don't think it's going as people thought it would. I think Patrick Lang is pretty much where people thought he'd be, and so is Matt Hansen.
Yeah, absolutely, Hansen is.
But Joe didn't have the best Texas, and neither did Braden, I don't think.
No, he DNF'd.
Yeah, so things aren't playing out just like people thought they would, but it's still super early right now. The halves are playing a huge role in the ranks, but
man,
as it goes on, it's going to start to be more towards who does well in championships.
Yeah,
and the championships.
Kona and Taupo are going to just really change everything. Like that's going to be those. I cannot wait for those moments of those races because those are going to change the rankings almost securely for like whoever owns those top 5 positions through the end of the year. It's going to be crazy to see what happens.
If they don't have a ticker on the side of the screen during like Ironman, during Kona and during 70.3 Worlds, it's like shuffling the series and like where everyone's at based on how far back they are.
Ooh, yeah.
Huge missed opportunity.
I'm going to jump in the lake if they don't.
That would be well, you should jump in the lake, but that would be pretty hard though, because the problem is you have to like know how much is going to change based off other races they've done too. So like if someone's at 70.3 Worlds, especially like if someone's 5th counting race has 2,000 points and someone else's 5th counting race only has 1,000 points, then it's like changes completely how much they can go up or down.
Well, it's all based off time.
Yeah, I know.
If they just assume that they're gonna count that race.
Yeah.
Then don't ruin it, Jackson.
It'd be hard. They don't even have a ticker counting like the time in that race.
But yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's a big ask, Garrick. Big ask.
Yeah. But if you're not, if your score for Conan's not going to count in your top 5, then you're probably not in the race.
in the series. Yeah, it will be really
Like
interesting.
you're probably in like 40th.
I really think for Taupo especially,
It's the last
because with
one.
Kona there's gonna be so much movement, it'll be really hard to tell. But Taupo, you're gonna see these are the guys who are close. Here's what they have for their 5th race, and then it's gonna be like Patrick Lang and Matt Hansen, who are like 15 minutes behind first at the 70.3 Worlds. But it's like there's gonna be like showing like, oh, who's gonna win the Ironman series? It's gonna be kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, because
The-
that last race in Taupo will know a lot about who will win based off that race.
Yeah, because it's the last one that counts. It's definitely worth more as a 70.3. Although it might be harder to get points than a regular 70.3 with frickin' Hayden Wild and Van Reel and Kyle Smith,
Oh,
and they're just gonna be flying.
this is
And they
going to
might
probably be the fastest, if not most momentous, awesome 70.3 worlds in a long time.
it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be so nuts. But it's a good thing that this week I decided I'm a really, really good swimmer now, and I'm just gonna swim that way in my training. So then
If
I'll
you
be
know
like
it,
that in my racing.
if you know it and think it, then it's got to be real.
I'm a big DPS guy now.
Mm,
Big distance.
that helps. It helps in the choppy water.
Yeah, I know.
I
That's what I
remember
thought.
one time we were swimming in Florida before St. Anthony's, and I took Jackson out in this like post-tropical storm.
Heinous. No, it was like a freaking tropical storm was like rolling in. It
It was
was
like
like
it was 2 days
questionable.
after it left, so it was still savage. And we're like breaching the other side of the swells and just like plummeting into the next wave. And at one point, I look back after an interval, and he's just like having a punch tantrum
I
at the
don't think this
water.
happened.
Oh my god, you were splashed around. You were so pissed. It was epic. I'll never forget that. I know you hate the
Uh,
chop.
it was ridiculous, man. That was just stupid though.
I was
Borderline. That was borderline reckless.
It was irresponsible, but boy, it was fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, anything else you want to get off your chest there, fellas? I think we got it. Gave our folks an hour full of knowledge here.
Yep. Nothing but good quality knowledge.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I don't know.
no,
Just
it's
happy
good.
training. Happy training, everyone. We should finish with that every episode. Happy training.
That's our new sign off. Happy trading.
Training.
That might actually do really well.
I, I want Can I get a hell yeah?
I don't I don't know if that would attract the type of listeners that tend to listen to us.
I don't know what type listen to us besides real cool mother truckers. That's all I gotta say.
Real triathletes listen to us.
Yeah. After they've gone
Yeah.
through look, let's be honest. After they've gone through their top 4 of what they wanted to catch up
Those-
on or listen to and or ran out of time.
the triathlon hour. Pro Tri News. Then it goes
TTL.
Well,
yeah. Then it goes maybe I don't know who's next. Probably
triathlon and
what-
cooking.
yeah, that and then
Triathlon
maybe us.
mockery.
No,
And then
triathlon
they're like,
mockeries
wait,
after
wait,
us, I think.
wait.
Especially after
No,
they're
guys.
canceled now.
This is the Real Triathlon podcast. What have I been listening to?
Oh god.
Anyways, I think we're good. Thanks for listening. It's been a pleasure. Next episode's probably going to have some focus. Probably not. Maybe figure it out. But
Is Matt Sharp coming back on?
yeah, the only professional episode is going to be with him. He'll be back hopefully the end of next month.
Oh, I might be going to Colorado for student camp and
When?
stuff. After Tremblant, maybe before Placid or something.
We can go stay with Matt Hansen.
Potential. Maybe Matt, maybe a little bit of RTS.
Leslie?
Perhaps. I don't know. I've asked her and she didn't say no. She also didn't reply. So
Well, I can tell you that I know she'll be out of a lease around August. So you better figure it out.
okay. Wait, but this is gonna be June. What does that have to do with me?
Oh, it's in June. Forgot. I thought it was
Would
gonna
it be July? Yeah.
All right. Well, that probably is good. So yeah, go to Boulder. It's a real fun time. You'll really love the area. She lives in a great spot. Even
Yeah.
Dark Mubrick will probably still be there.
Oh yeah, cool. Show him how to ride his tricycle. We can tell each other how to save another quarter of a watt each with equipment selections.
Oh my gosh, that's all he's talking about now. He's been eaten up by aero testing. All right.
Haven't we all? All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Let's go to.
I was gonna say we didn't even talk about Jack's aero testing. We can do that next week. Jack will tell us all about it. He'll have a detailed PowerPoint for us.
Yeah, I want to
Well,
see schematics.
here's the schematic. Here's the summary. The thing that everyone's doing with their bottle position in the front is what's the fastest.
Where they
Okay.
up to their chest based off of how it's positioned on their bike.
Yeah, backward facing towards the belly.
God, looks like I got to grow some.
It's not that much different though. It was like I don't even know. It's hard to tell. Maybe like a few watts.
Cool.
I'll take it.
I'll figure it out, or I won't. Just go ride my bike. And on that note, stay in shape. What was it? What was our sign off?
Happy training.
Happy training.
Stay in shape.